Welcome to part 3 of our Greek road trip. This time we're swapping car keys for cruise tickets, hopping over to Hydra and Spetses, with a quick detour to Porto Cheli, where the yachts outnumber the coffee cups. Then it's back on dry land for a few gloriously sun-drenched days in Tolo, where the only real decisions are fish, frappe, or feet up on the beach. When we finally rolled into Tolo, the heavens opened. Sheets of rain, cracks of thunder. Our Greek road trip had turned dramatic. But even through the storm, you could feel the charm of this place. Our first glimpse of Tolo wasn't the sunlit postcard view, but rain hammering down and thunder rolling across the bay. Still, there was something magical about arriving like that. When the storm clouds finally gave us a break, we headed down Tolo's promenade for a stroll. A stroll along Tolo's promenade is a feast in itself. Rows of bars, cafes, and restaurants, each one showing off plates of mouth-watering Greek cuisine. A few steps further, and you're on the sand. In Tolo, the hotels are built right onto the beach, so it's literally hop, skip, sip your drink, and you're in the sea. Originally a tiny fishing village, Tolo became a holiday haven after World War II, when Greek refugees from Crete settled here and transformed it into the charming seaside town you see today. It may not be the biggest name on the map, but with golden sand, warm waters, and tavernas practically on the shoreline, Tolo's the sort of place that turns a short stop into a long stay. Moistakia's Fish Taverna, perched right on the water's edge. A seat so perfect, it felt like the sea was part of the table setting. And the fish platter, let's just say, heavenly doesn't quite cover it. We boarded the Mantalena cruise ship, ready to visit the islands of Hydra and Spetses. From the deck, we watched Tolo slip by, a line of hotels practically sitting in the sand, beach bars just a hop from the water. The sort of place you could wave for another drink and be in the sea before it arrives. Aboard the Mantalana, Hydra ahead and Spetses to follow, we drifted past Porto Cheli, or Porto Cheli, depending which road sign you happen to believe. It's a yachtie's paradise, frappes, designer boutiques, and that special kind of shopping where if you have to ask the price, you're clearly in the wrong marina. One side of town is all shops, cafes, and Bali-style bars, but slip down a side street and you'll stumble onto a palm-lined beach, the kind of secret spot only the locals whisper about. Chic, charming, and absolutely worth a visit. As we had the bay to ourselves, the drone had to make its daily appearance. The Mantalana rolled into Hydra, and suddenly we were part of the super yacht parade, all of us jostling for a sliver of space in a harbour that, at first glance, looks more Amalfi than our Gallic Gulf. The waterfront is a lineup of bars, cafes, and designer shops, each table a prime viewing spot for the real attraction, the yachty fashion show, as the glamorous step ashore in full catwalk mode. Cars? Forget it. Hydra's Uber is the donkey, and they trot about with more authority than any chauffeur. And there's definitely a dress code here. Cool, stylish, and just a touch effortless, which of course made us feel instantly overdressed, or possibly underdressed. Back on board, we escaped the sweltering heat, cooled down with a latte, and found a shady spot for the next leg of our journey. Spetses. Known for its naval history, this island proudly celebrates Lascarina Bubulina, the legendary female admiral, with her very own museum. After a dose of culture, we did what any sensible travellers would do in 40-degree heat. We stopped for an ice cream sundae. My favourite is mango and chocolate. Spetses may not be as cosmopolitan as Hydra, but it's every bit as charming. Lively cafes, pretty shops, and a pace of life that makes you want to linger just a little longer. We took a leisurely sail back to Tolo, and once ashore, made a beeline for our favourite beach. Ready for a swim and a stretch in the sunshine. Except the sunshine was pushing 45 degrees, so out came the newly purchased beach tent. Indoors it popped up in 5 minutes flat. On the sand, 11 minutes of sweat, swearing and slapstick. Poles going one way, canvas the other, and us looking like contestants in a very low-budget game show. When finally up, the shade was so small, you needed to sit in a yoga pose just to squeeze under. Crisis solved with a brolly propped up as a makeshift awning. Tent finally up, beer and rum out, and at last we could relax, rounding off the day with a dip in the warm turquoise waters. Corinth Canal, an unmissable sight. A 26-metre wide slash through the rock, its sheer walls plunging over 70 metres into an impossibly narrow ribbon of bright turquoise water. Completed in 1893, it spared ships an extra 430 nautical miles around the Peloponnese. These days it's too narrow for most modern vessels, but it's found a far more terrifying purpose: bungee jumping. Apparently admiring this miracle of engineering wasn't enough for some. Someone looked at a 78-metre drop and thought, you know what would improve this? A rope and a leap of blind faith. We watched as a few terrified souls stepped off the edge. Jack and I knew one thing for sure: no amount of rum or beer would ever get us to throw ourselves off. This is definitely someone else's bucket list, not ours. In our next episode, we drive the long route up the Greek mainland to stay a couple of nights to experience the spectacular landscape at Meteora, which is a Greek word meaning suspended in the air. So be sure to join us in episode 4